Again, it was a game that kind of scares you a little bit. And, I think when you're facing teams that are coming in with long losing streaks and really don't have a heck of a lot to play for, they can play loose. And I think we didn't get off to a really fast start on offense. And I think if we got off to a fast start, we would have deflated them a little bit faster. And as a result, we kind of kept them in the game and gave them hope and gave them enthusiasm and gave them energy. And the game was in doubt longer than we wanted it to be in doubt. But it's one of these games that are really difficult, just because of the team you're playing. They have athletes. It's really hard to judge based on tape because their schedule has been ridiculous. So they've played, Syracuse and Rutgers. So they're not just playing FBS schools. They're playing Power 5 FBS schools. Their regular FCS games have been with Fordham, which is lighting up the scoreboard left and right. And so the only game that you really get a look at is St. Francis, that is somewhat comparable. So it's a tough team to really gauge. And so, again, kudos to our kid. We got to play better in terms of consistency. We know we're capable of playing better and just doing things on a much more consistent level than what we showed at times. But kudos to our kids that in the second half they came out and executed and, just kind of showed the kind of football we're capable of on both sides of the ball. So it's a step forward. We obviously got to improve. But when the smoke clears, I'm glad that game is behind us. I don't think we're going to have any issue getting our kids' attention with the Ivy schedule from here on out. But these games are tough, just because of the one-loss record of your opponent. Tough to gauge how athletic they are because of who they're playing. And, again, us having to do a better job from the get-go, both defensively and offensively, to try to take some of that steam and momentum away from them as early as we can. Again, we're struggling to do routine things well very consistently. And that's really the message that's been right along. The good teams, they can do very boring things very, very consistently. And nobody notices it, but you don't notice a bad snap until it's a bad snap. All right, nobody notices that stuff, or you don't notice a different leverage until all of a sudden the ball's caught or you're in the wrong position. So we just got to be able to do routine things well. We've got to be able to establish an identity of who we are and who we want to be, and then off of that identity, be able to parlay that into making big plays with our perimeter people that are pretty explosive. And we struggled like hell in the first half with that. We were not on schedule. We weren't in rhythm. Again, we did a much better job of doing all that in the second half. And as a result, we're able to make some explosive plays, control the clock, move the ball, and kind of control tempo. But it's really a game of doing routine things really well. And at times we struggle. Yeah, no, again, we're very capable of making plays. It's just, again, at times we don't give ourselves a chance to stay on schedule or rhythm. But when we are on schedule, we feel we've got pretty good matchups. And obviously, we feel strongly about Bryson on the outside versus virtually anybody he's playing against. So, which was great to see. And we needed a spark, and that was a good launching point. And from there on out, I think we exhaled and really played well. It was just our turnovers that kind of prevented us from scoring a heck of a lot more points. And that's the second half of the equation. We've been a team that just have really done a good job protecting the football. And this week to a limited extent, but last week to a large extent, was some of the issues. So, again, we got to shore that up as well. So it's a good win. We certainly are not going to be apologetic for winning how we won, but we know we got things we got to clean up on, and we'll do that, and we'll get ready for next week going down to Philadelphia. I think we have to get an identity. Our age and maturity is in our offensive line and our tight ends. So they have a wealth of playing time. They're older kids. We've got a couple fifth-year kids there in addition to some seniors. And it's the same way with the tight ends. So I think that's the foundation of everything. And I think if we can run the ball successfully, it forces them to do some things schematically that leave people outside, okay, a little bit more vulnerable, whether it's just man coverage or soft zone, or there's a lot more areas to throw the ball in because they're going to have to commit more than 6 or 7 guys in the box for the run game. But it starts off up there. And it starts off with us being on schedule. And the first couple of drives, we were never on schedule. We missed assignments, bad snaps, penalties, and it's hard to play behind the chains for anybody. Yeah, I mean, we're, again, defensive guys, they play really hard. And the frustrating part is, this is usually statistically the odds of getting a 4th and 17 is not really high. Okay, and it's happened twice this season. And those are the things that upset you. Now, the other guys have talented kids, so they're going to move the ball some. And given their youth and everything, they're playing at a really high level, and they're playing hard, which is great. But obviously, we got to get off the field. It's one thing if they're moving the chains, it's 4th and 1. It's another thing, 4th and 17. And again, it's more us than it is them. We're playing man-to-man, and he runs halfway and then decides the quarterback's starting to run around, so he gets off his man, and that's who they throw to. So youth mistakes, but obviously there's a lot to clean up there. But you got to like how hard our kids are playing defensively. They're getting after people. Yeah, we came in with huge question marks, especially in our front 7. The experience was on the back end, the 3rd level. And so we needed guys, and we had identified guys that we thought, could replace all of those graduated down kids that we had last year. And so it's been great to see, Justin's progress, because he didn't play a snap, not one, his freshman year. And in high school, he was actually a tailback / linebacker. So it just kind of shows you the progression that he has made in his work ethic. But it's not just him, It's, Pat Pasqualacca was an offensive center, and we moved him to defense to try to balance out a little bit because we had so many experienced offensive linemen. And he's done a great job as a one technique, and has done a good job with Cornelio and with Mitch Moyer, kind of developing some depth. And then Josh Powell, the freshman, is in there a lot. Has done a really nice job. So they're really young kids, and it's the same way outside of Valentes at linebacker. The inside kids. Now, CJ has a lot of experience outside, but the inside kids. So, you're seeing the evolution of some of those young linebackers that really didn't play very much last year, and it's been good to see, But we had to have kids step up, and, thankfully they did.
I'm still getting my feet under myself. There's definitely some plays out there that I think that I could have done something different and had a more explosive play. But I'm still getting some weird things. I think I'm good though. Just following those guys up front. They're paving the way for me. I'm just following them. So I'm still getting my feet under me, but I feel pretty good.
I think just like we all as offense, we know what we can do. So it was kind of just getting in that mindset of like, all right, let's lock in, make sure we're taking care of and handling our jobs, and then pretty much the rest just falls in place after that.
Yeah, I think we just kind of, Coach Bagnoli touched on it, leaned on those experienced guys up front, started running the ball down the middle and getting good push and churning out first downs. And I think that's what got us going, and then we didn't look back from there. So kind of following those big guys up front is really what got it going for us today.
Well, I had a post, and he was heavy inside leverage, so I just decided to try to beat him with speed. Joe gave me a great ball up top. That's where I like him. And then I just tried to go up and spearfish it, as Coach Taylor would say, but and catch it and bring it down.
I'm blessed. It's kind of crazy how it's my first 100-yard game. I've had a couple that have been close, but like I said, yeah. But it's just a testament and thanking those guys up front, just following them. You know, I go as they go. So, yeah.